Right now that we are sticking to our beloved four-legged friends, and we're showing you advice or tips on how to look after your senior pets.
So whilst their love and, of course, loyalty doesn't age at all, our pets certainly do, and often quicker than most pet parents realize. Cats and dogs are considered seniors by 7 years of age, and even as young as 5 for large breed dogs. So older pets have obviously a higher risk of heart disease, cancer, arthritis, kidney and liver disease. So in celebration of National Senior Pet Month this July, Dr. Sherry Ross is here to give us all the necessary info on how to help you prevent and manage common conditions for our golden oldies. And as I started speaking, I could see poor Bobbus got freaked out and jumped off the couch. Shame. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. Always great to connect with you. I have to ask, I think, a very obvious question here. We always talk about dog years and especially dogs aging so much faster than humans. Why do they age faster than us?
Well, due to their size, just metabolically, their lifespan's expected to be less. And so if you think of a hamster, an average life expectancy is a couple of years.
Yeah.
And for our dogs, again, in dogs and cats, because they're smaller animals, they have a shorter life expectancy.
Oh, shame. This really is freaking Bob out, I think. But he's a little dog with a big heart. I think he sees himself as a much bigger dog. I think as pet owners, we often don't take cognizance of the fact that we are the best people to recognize a change in our dog's behavior, to see if something is possibly changing. What signs should we be looking out for that they are possibly aging a little prematurely or that they are just aging naturally?
And that's a really good question, and one that as veterinarians we ask owners every time they come in. Lots of people say, oh, they're slowing down, they're just getting older. But oftentimes slowing down and getting older can be signs of other diseases like arthritis if they're not willing to play ball as much. And those are things where we can intervene and hopefully give them back quality of life and give them back activity. So things to look for are, are they willing to play ball if they're dogs? Are they willing to play ball like they did before? Are they having problems going up and down the stairs? I hear people say all the time that they have a cat or a dog that just doesn't want to jump up on the couch anymore. And, you can get them stairs. That's one thing you can do. I've done that for my cats.
What's his weight looking like? Yeah.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Look at the weight. And more importantly, lots of times as our patients get older, they do gain weight, but they lose muscle mass. And so it's a redistribution. Even if their weight's the same, if they've got more fat mass and less muscle mass, they'll be weaker and not able to play as much.
So, Bobbus, I hate to say it, buddy, but just like me, approaching my 40s, you might have to look at going onto a senior diet next year. I'm just saying, dude. But the reality is we do already help our pets and dogs specifically. If you had to think of them in a wild context, they would live probably 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
With the pressures, the external pressures, we help them live much longer, healthier lives. What are the best ways that we can give our pets a bit of longevity?
The best thing we can do for our animals is make sure that they're on an appropriate diet, and the diet's going to be appropriate for their life stage. So puppies you feed very differently than you do older animals or middle-aged animals. And then make sure that they get to a veterinarian once a year for a thorough checkup. We've got much better diagnostic testing now that we can identify things like chronic kidney disease, which is a very common disease we see in older animals. We can identify that far earlier, where we can intervene with nutrition and keep them feeling better.
In terms of that nutrients, what do they specifically need as they grow older? What are the important things?
The important things is a very well-balanced diet, and then as they get older, their protein requirements are not, they don't need a very, very high protein diet, and it actually can be detrimental to the kidneys. So they need a diet that's designed for their aging years. Usually they're slightly calorie restricted just because we don't want them to gain fat mass.
Burning less through their metabolism.
But we want to make sure that they have all the vitamins and minerals that they need to have an optimal quality of life. We also want to put in antioxidants and things like that because they're going to have joint disease, they're going to have arthritis. Most animals do as they get older. So most of these senior diets are designed for animals to help minimize any of those signs.
And remember, one veterinary checkup a year is the human equivalent of you visiting your doctor once every 7 years. So please follow Dr. Ross's very helpful tips and take your pet to the vet for a checkup at least twice a year after the age of 7 for small breeds and age 5 for your larger breeds, in order to keep your senior pets feeling happy and healthy. And of course, always approach it from a balanced diet perspective.